Old soul, young world.
But when it's of true positive nature and manifestation,
Old souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between.
search deeper, dive deeper, and be like, yo,
Old soul, young world.
Old souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between. Welcome back to Old Soul Young World with your host, Jessie Elly. Ooh, that one took a second, but it's because it knows we have a very special guest on the show today. We have an OG graffiti artist from Cambridge, someone who's been in the game for over 20 years, an entrepreneur, travels internationally for their artwork, the one, the only. Welcome to the show, Merkaveli. What's poppin'? Woo woo! What's going on? How you feeling?
Good, man, good.
That's fun.
Can I pour some champagne for you?
Yeah, please do.
Get the vibes rolling. But Merkaveli, I can give you an intro all I want. I could have said a million more things about you because of how much you've done in the game over your career. Can you give the people a little brief synopsis of who the hell is Merkaveli? And how long you actually been doing what you're doing? And where are you from right now?
I guess it all started walking the tracks down in Cambridge, I don't know, like 20, 30 years ago. And then, I don't know, just painting and then traveling and painting more and not taking no shit.
Hey!
Not caring about pretty much anything else. And put me to where I am now. I get to do what I like. Pretty picky about my projects, and I just stay focused on my individual brand. And then I don't know, I got a couple guys that I run the streets with, and we get together. It's like a little super group. It's even better.
A super group. I love that.
Yeah.
And so, native Cambridge, born and raised, or?
Born and raised, Cambridge Hospital.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. You straight out the city. Okay.
Yeah, man,
Yeah. And I know you started off in Cambridge, like you said, when you were young, doing the art. Right now, I know you're more into digital, but when you started, it seems like it was a lot with brushes and painting.
It was before that. Dude.
Or cans, if I should say. Yeah, can you give us a brief synopsis of when the hell did Merkaveli actually pick up art and why?
I don't know, man. I always say everybody draws before they write their name, and then some people just stop doing it, But being in Cambridge, there's a lot of opportunity that you don't get other places. And my mom put me onto this thing at MIT was doing, and then they were starting a little computer workshop place for inner city kids and stuff. I was 18, 19, but they were looking for people to volunteer as mentors.
Oh, wow.
And so I went over there. I was the first official mentor at the place. And it was Photoshop 2.0. Yeah. Didn't have layers or anything.
Some of these people won't even know what you're talking about.
No. But, and then the guy, his name was Noah. He was pretty awesome. The guy who was running everything. And he was telling me, one day you're going to be doing your whole painting here on the computer and you're going to be printed on the canvases. And I was like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, right.
And, now it's all I do,
So
I never run out of paint. I never, it takes me 20 minutes to find a pen in my house, I do everything on the computer, man. It's the best.
So wild. That's crazy. And it really shows, over the decades and as time goes, it's as an artist and entrepreneur, you do have to find a way to phase yourself with the phases, and keep changing with the changes.
Mm-hmm.
But before it was digital, what was your very first style? Was it actually a paintbrush or was it a can? Were you doing graffiti murals?
No, man. It took me forever. Most of the guys doing stuff out of Boston were actually out of Boston. Me being in Cambridge, I was kind of like by myself with it for a long time, you know?
So you feel like it put you on the outskirts, kind of, like because you were from Cambridge?
Yeah, and there was like a stigma with that back in the day too, like when you ran into other painters and stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured everything out on my own. And then once I got out and about, I started like working with other people. But by then I already had my own like way I do things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's dope. That's dope. And just for anybody listening in, you know, who doesn't know you, what would you say your style of art is if you could categorize it? I know there's a lot of, from animation, you do different portraits of celebrities to more cartoon type styles. Do you feel like you could put it into one category, or are you kind of multi-perspected on that?
I don't know, man. Like with the guys I paint with in my crew, we always say like happy style. You know?
I love
just like
that.
keep your colors bright. You know, like APC is a crew I'm part of. It's like when we first started that, it was like only animals. You know, like you want to do teddy bears or birds or whatever. Like just make them happy animals.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and yeah, mixing that with the bright colors and just like fun stuff, especially when you're doing like public things, you know, you want stuff that makes people happy, you know.
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
The political stuff and all that, it's like a waste of time to me.
Mm-hmm. So it's more about like the colors, the style, like the texture,
and just uplifting people, you know, and like
evoking emotion,
having fun, yeah. Maybe make it a little sexy sometimes.
Hey, adding a little flavor here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And you just said you ran with a crew. It was called AP.
Yeah, APCs.
And what's that stand for?
Yeah, Animal Power Cults.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our Apex Predator Committee. You know, there's a bunch of
Apex Predator Committee.
Yeah, but it's all, you know, animal based. We started between here in Cambridge and in Bogotá, and then now it's like everywhere.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah.
So
dope.
From Boston to Bogotá.
Yeah, man. A buddy of mine had like dual citizenship, and then so back in like, you know, like the early 2000s, he'd come out here for a couple months. And then he'd stuff like these boxes of like graffiti supplies and then bring them back down there and paint with his buddies out there for a couple months and back and forth. And
wow.
Yeah, man, a bunch of the guys from the crew made it pretty big.
That's really dope.
And it's dope. We got guys all over, like Ecuador and Mexico.
So painting's given you an opportunity to lead you to be able to travel to places that maybe you wouldn't have outside of this?
Yeah, I didn't do any traveling before the painting, and then now it's even when we go on vacation, I'm like, you know, is there like a paint store nearby, or let me see if I know somebody in town.
Yeah,
you know?
Right. Do you make it more like working vacations now? It's like if you're gonna travel, it's because you're doing a mural or you're going to a festival, or does there have to be a balance of the life work for you?
It's definitely not as balanced as it should be. I get in a lot of trouble for it. You know, every once in a while we'll have to do like a strict no painting vacation.
Yeah, right. You can't bring any art materials, Merkaveli.
Yeah. Maybe some stickers.
Cut off. Yeah, maybe some stickers.
Yeah.
And you do stickers as well, right?
Oh, I love stickers. That's probably my most fun thing to do, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like going back to what you said with like the early days, like, you know, you used to spend like a night. Like, first you go to the post office and just steal a bunch of, like, the free labels.
Yeah.
You know, and then you spend, like, 2 days drawing them by hand, dude. Then you might have, like, 50, you know? Now, it's like, I do a design, I could change the color, like, 10 times in an hour and print up 1,000 of them, you know what I mean? Glow in the dark, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And speaking of that, with, like, stickers, tagging, whether it's graffiti or with the stickers or whatever, from back in the day till now, can you give us kind of like a sense of how you feel like the change has been from before graffiti was legalized in certain places to now it's like so much more accepted? Businesses want the art to promote what they're doing. I know Boston actually, within the last couple of months, they did art installations like everywhere, these big blow up pieces. I don't know if you've seen any of them.
Oh yeah, there's like a sick whale in downtown. I saw it yesterday. It's like,
a whale. They have these clown faces like squished between buildings, like just a bunch of stuff to like evoke the vibe of like art creativity. But I feel like you said, when you're growing up, it wasn't as accepted, open, appreciated.
Nah, man, it's a felony, dude. You get caught up, you lose your license for a year before you even go to court.
100%. Like, you could be criminalized just for creating.
And they were like nuts about it out here, man.
Oh, yeah, it was like Nazi type shit.
Yeah, dude. I meet people from all over the world, painters, and like when I tell them from Boston, they always ask me about like, dude, back in the day, was it really like?
And you're like,
yeah, man. Like they raid your house 6 a.m, dude. Like kicking the door with the SWAT team. Like, yeah, for graffiti, it's crazy.
That's
dude.
so crazy.
They just had it in, dude. Like,
did you ever get in any situations?
No, not really, man. I was able to stay under the radar, dude. I got caught up one time, but like, I just said a bunch of bullshit. They didn't even take down my tag name or anything.
Wow.
Like, I just got away scot-free, really.
He's too smooth. Too smooth.
Yeah.
And it's funny, actually, before I met you today, I kind of like looked at you as a Banksy. Like, I really didn't know. I know, it's crazy.
I don't really use stencils, so.
You don't know, not in your style form, but more of like, you're very exclusive. You don't be putting out, I feel like, your face as much as your artwork. Like, you are a little more behind the scenes.
There's two sides of that. Like, I do stuff like this now. Like, I feel like if you're not out there, like, you're talking about it, people aren't going to respect the art form. But, like, as far as, like, the day-to-day of it, like, yeah, I want the art to do it. You know, I don't care about me being the focus point, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, I don't do a lot of selfies and stuff like that. But, I mean, I don't hide my face either. And, like, I'll come talk wherever. You know, I painted live at the MFA, dude. Like, I'll do whatever, you know?
You did live painting at the MFA?
Yeah, I was, like, one of the first guys to do it. Like, me and my buddy Bose. Yeah, we did a couple years in a row. It's dope.
Wow, that's super
like in the gallery next to us was the first time was a Da Vinci exhibition. And I'm like, dude, you know, I get to say I was next to that.
That is super dope. Yeah, and that's legendary. And you're creating history by you've projected yourself through your art for so long that you've created this legacy and like something that you can build where people see you and they know it's you. You know, your reputation precedes you, I guess you could say. And even without somebody knowing who you are, it's like, I've admired your artwork for years. I've seen it at shows for over 10 years now. Actually, I went to a Roxbury, I'm not even going to be able to remember the name right now, a Roxbury event a few months ago. I went downstairs to use the bathroom and all lining the hallway was your work. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, I would never even expect
the substation?
The substation. Yeah. So it's just really cool to see somebody like you who's so big, but you can also be in like local places as well as international.
Yeah, I mean, I just doing it myself. So, you know, like, I mean, I think I'm good enough with it that I don't have to take, you know, everything that comes along. But, you know, it's also like just to stay out there, you know, like otherwise I'm like in my backyard burning canvases because I got nowhere to put them, you know what I mean? Like,
facts. And, you know, I do just want to talk about Old Soul Young World. Like, this is about really, you know, following your passion, your purpose, what you feel like, something that can, you know, be either leaving a legacy of you or building change for people of the future. Do you feel like art is part of your purpose? Do you feel like you have a purpose? And what is it that you try to put through your art, besides, I guess, the happiness that you want to, like, leave for other people to know?
I don't really know, man. I guess I've just been doing it so long, it's just nice to know that there's something around there, you know? Then, like, on the other side of it, like, I'm not really scared of anything, dude. Like, you know, like, my health hasn't been that great recently, and, like, just in general, like, I feel like I could go tomorrow, dude. I'm happy with what I accomplished, and I feel like if I hadn't done that, I'd probably feel a different way about all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, but, yeah, like, 20, 30 years... You know, just grinding out, highs and lows, halfway around the world. Like, yeah, I'm good, dude. You know, I got like a family now. We got a little beach house. We like try to like stay off the, you know, off the grid as much as we can. And,
it's about the simple things.
Yeah, like that. You know, like it takes a lot to be comfortable with that kind of stuff, but. Yeah, dude, 20 years of painting, and there it is, you know?
Right, exactly. And, like, when you were just saying that about, you know, you could go tomorrow and this, and this, I try to think about it and, you know, have people in my life that we talk about it, but LLL, which is limited life left. And it's like when you really start basing your purpose and what you're doing and your creativity or just your daily habits off like limited life left, like how do I enjoy today? How do I create more today? And I feel like, you know, when you were younger compared to now, do you feel like you had a mindset when you started creating like, I want to get famous, I want to be big, I want this, this, and this. And then over time it changed to just being like happy with being able to do that full time, having your family, having the things that you need, opposed to like the fame or the money or etc. But you get to create full time.
I guess there's like stages to it. Like when I was like first like a kid, you know, and I saw all like the graffiti, you know, like Beach Street and all that, you know, I was just like, yo, I just want to paint the world and that would be dope, you know, and then like I busted my ass painting, like out and every night, you know, and I did a lot and then it got to like, all right, what are you going to do with that? And then I saw an article back in the day by a guy that I followed and you know, I never thought that you could like put the stuff in an art gallery or something, you know. So then I started trying to focus on stuff like that. And that took like a couple of years to really like get a grip on it.
Yeah.
And then once I started doing that, like things just shifted. It was more like I have fun doing this. I just want to like create more opportunities to do it. I wasn't really thinking about like the success of an individual show, you know, or
Right.
I feel like when I first started, it was like, yeah, one of these things is going to be like, you know, I'm going to make it big on this one. I'm going to make it big on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when I think back on it, it's like you've been doing this shit for like ever. Like that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like you can't go chasing that like $1 million day. Like who cares?
Exactly.
You know? If you get up tomorrow and you have somebody else wants something painted or whatever, then you know you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. It's another win, and it's like I think that I'm just trying to, you know, get to the bottom of like how you stay consistent and motivated, I guess, because there's so many artists and entrepreneurs and people, and we talked about this a little bit before the show, but they just want to do it to be known for the wrong purposes, to get followers, for the fame, for this, this, and this. And it takes the passion, the creativity, and the art out of what you're creating. But also, like what you just said, enjoying the journey and the process. And if the whole time, every piece that you made, you're like, will this be the one to blow up? Is this the one that's going to get known? It's like, then you are not enjoying what you're even doing anymore when it comes down to it. Were there ever times in the life and journey of Merkaveli that you felt like you struggled to stay motivated with your art or got down on yourself, like, you know, fuck it, this is just too hard, I want to give up, you know, maybe I should do this, maybe I should get a day job, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what were those times for you?
That stuff happens all the time, man. But
that's
like
100%.
If you really stay focused on stuff, you can really get yourself out of like some pretty deep holes. I feel like, at least in my experience, like when I feel really down, like painting is really the only thing that like lifts me up, you know. So like if I have nothing going on, like I always have 1,000 things in my head that I want to do, and usually I'm too busy for it.
Mm-hmm.
So like in those situations, I'll just bang out a bunch of like crazy stuff, and like it usually works because it gets pretty crazy, and like, you know, I'll get some attention from it, and then once you get one project, it usually snowballs, and then I'll get to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm getting a little tired, and I'll stop like posting so much or whatever. You know, I kind of like try to stay in control of it, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, like the last couple of years has been slow for everybody in the art, man. Like
for sure,
there's one thing and this, the next thing, you know, like. But yeah, like this year's been pretty dope already.
Yeah.
Got some big stuff coming up and little things popping off in between. So probably by the end of the year, I'll be ready to like, you know, take another break on my own, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's awesome. And I know, like you said, you have big things coming up. You have a solo show, I believe, that we talked about that you have coming up this summer.
Yeah.
Can we get into that a little bit? Where it's gonna be, what kind of work, what people can expect from that.
Yeah, it's gonna be at the Blue Triangle Gallery. It's a new gallery in town.
Oh, okay.
In Chinatown. It's pretty dope. There's not really much I can compare it to aside from like it's just crazy and it's fresh and like it's this married couple behind it, Matt and his wife are pretty like they're pretty dope with it. They take it serious. And yeah, as for the show, a little bit is like highlighting like how long I've been in it, and then at the same time I really want to show off like where I'm at now from 20 years experience, and then yeah, just make it something legendary, like Larry Bird status,
Yes.
What I mean?
That's so dope.
And try to shut it down.
Yes. I got to give you a shout out too, because this is your official 20-year anniversary, 2004 to 2024, which is just like insane 360. And it must be so, interesting to look back on your whole portfolio and be like, wow, from when I started to like my first piece till everything you've done now. What would you say, and I know this is probably a little difficult, but in the mural realm, because you started off heavily as like doing murals and graffiti and stuff like that, do you feel that you had a favorite or most meaningful mural piece or show that you've traveled and done throughout the 20 years that really like always stands out to you? I know there's probably like show on show, so it's hard to pick, but
yeah, I think honestly, just working with the guys I worked with, man. Like I started a crew in 2004. It was like, so the Red Sox won the World Series.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, anything's fucking possible. So
they can do it, I can fucking do it.
Yeah, right. So I made a website. I started recruiting some guys I knew in the neighborhood, and dude, we went on an ill tear, man. We call it Recluse. We like painted for like 10 years straight. Sometimes we do 3 shows a month. Like
that's fire.
It was like 9, 10 of us at a time, And yeah, everything that came out of that's probably the most fun, dude. And then everything after it just, I don't know, it turned into like take on the world after that. And now I don't know, I go places and people will like waiting to see me when I get there. It's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Like I never imagined anything like that.
Does that ever shock you? Like, are you ever like, oh shit, like this is like I legit have fans, like people know me.
Like I was at a friend of mine's opening in Bogotá, and this lady didn't even speak English. She had to like get a translator, but she recognized my glasses. And she knew me from like the shit I do in Boston. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. Yeah, but it's like that everywhere I go, man. Hawaii, I ran into some homies of mine. Like, it doesn't matter where I go. Like, it's pretty dope. Yeah.
But and that's the thing. It's like art is like its own language. You know what I mean? Like you said, that lady didn't have to speak the same words as you to be able to comprehend and relate with you on that emotional basis.
Yeah, like, it's things like when you get out in the world, you realize the power of, like, what's going on like, the Instagrams and shit like that. Oh, so check it out. I'm in Hawaii, right? Yeah. And I'm sitting there. I got these, like, Hawaiian Nikes. They had, like, the Aloha print shit, right? Oh, shit. That's like, fire. The first day I got there, I took, like, a picture of my shoes, like, with the water, you know? And then the next day, we just went out to get like food for the family or whatever to like local like Stop and Shop or something. Yeah. And then I put a sticker up in the parking lot. And then I'm in there trying to buy some cigarettes. I'm standing at the counter, and then this kid comes up to me. He's like, "Yo, Merkaveli," and I'm like, "What?"
You're like, hello.
He's like, "Yeah, man. Like, I saw the sticker in the parking lot, and then I was following your Instagram, and then I saw those sneakers that you're wearing." I just figured that was you. I'm just like,
holy shit! He was invested to find you. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
But and I mean, I'm not anybody, dude. Like, but it's crazy.
Yeah, you signing autographs for people? You out here like, hey, maybe every now and then.
Are inspired by what I do, and go ahead, go and do it. Don't steal my style.
Yeah, for sure.
go do it your own way.
Yeah. And, you know, speaking of that, speaking of styles and just like, I guess, stealing or just creating in general, it's like art is so fluid. How has it been to you since you started putting out your artwork and putting out your style, your figures, your characters, which, you know, if you want to get into any of your characters too, I would love to talk about that. But do you ever see like people kind of jumping on your swag, like kind of riding the coattail a little bit, like anyone who's like,
Yeah, all the time.
yeah,
Yeah, all the time, man.
because it's hard to copyright art because you're just creating and then you're putting it out and you're, you know, and then people be taking credit for shit that it's like, yo, I made that. Like, how do you deal with that?
Like when I was little, you know, I drew like Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield all day, you know. But then you see guys who like they make a whole career out of, you know, drawing Bugs Bunny, and they never draw their own guy.
Facts, right?
So you can't really like whatever. But when I see people directly like running with my stuff, I like, you know, I have this thing. It's a joke between my friends, but I'll go through their shit and then I'll find some of their stuff and I'll flip their work in my style and just like burn it, you know.
I love that. It's like a diss track, but like
yeah, that's usually what I do. You know, back in the day we used to battle people, man, but nobody wants to do that shit anymore.
Wait, you used to battle paint?
Yeah,
like
man.
Battle rap?
Everybody used to do that.
What do you mean?
It's part of the game. Like you make a time, you meet up, you get some people to judge it.
Shut up.
Or maybe just like, all right, if I know you hit this wall over here, I'm gonna go tonight and go over that something better. You know, like it used to be like wars, dude.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah, you get punched in the face, all kinds of stuff back in the day, dude. Like that's the thing with all these like street art, like the art school like mural kids, like when they something like an Art Basel happens, and then you have like the real graffiti kids, and then those kids together
versus the educated artists.
Oh man, dude, you see the funniest shit go down. Dude.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's too funny. And you know, also through you being in Cambridge and you know the graffiti and all that, did you and have you started out on the Cambridge graffiti wall? Was it legal when you started there? And do you still do murals now? Are you still on the Cambridge wall? Do you go back there or?
I'll tell you, man. So when I was little, it was like a free wall, and then I don't know what happened. It stopped, and then around like early 2000s or something, there was a little boutique over there where like the thrift store is now.
Okay.
And they put together an event, and then they talked to the guy who owned the restaurant there. His name's Gary. Mm-hmm. And me and my crew, Recluse, we were the first ones to like do a production on that wall.
Wow.
And then, you know, it's just been the free wall ever since.
Yeah.
It's dope. Like I had a piece there once that lasted like 1 month shy of a year, dude.
Wow.
And
that's like unknown. Right? Like
I've
that's
also
rare.
had like stuff that lasted like a half hour, you know?
Yeah.
And like sometimes I'll see people like finishing their painting and people are just like waiting. And like they gotta take
waiting
a picture.
to go cover it.
Yeah, as soon as you took his picture, that's gone, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's man. Funny. I don't know, I'm kind of legendary on that wall.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, you've said it a few times. I actually had it on my notes. I wanted to bring it up when we talked about the 20 year, but I think this is a great way to transition to it. You keep saying recluse, right? You guys said, or recluse, but you spell it in a way where it's like REKLOOS.
Yeah.
So it has a play on like being a recluse, like not being seen, kind of like being behind the scenes. But also I've seen that you've been using the hashtag, like the hashtag 20 years a loser?
Yeah,
Closer?
like a recluser, you know?
Yeah,
like,
so can you just like get into what's behind that? And
that's just what it is, you know? If you're a part of the crew, you're a looser, you know? And we had like our little groupies, they were called the reclusies.
Hey,
you know? Like, it's just,
that's fire.
It's like everything.
It's a culture.
Yeah, we used to kick up some dust, man. It was a good time.
Yeah, I love the wordplay on that, though.
Yeah.
And do you still use that for your, like, is that part of your branding, part of you guys' group still?
I mean, I still paint with a bunch of those guys, and, like, we do our thing. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, you know, people grow up and, like, get families and stuff like that, or just go into different things, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Still paint with people.
Word. That's dope. And, you know, I got to ask the basic question about your name, about the tag, Merkaveli. I'm assuming it's not your God-given name. I don't know. I don't want to assume,
No.
but I'm assuming it's not on your birth certificate. Where did Merkaveli come from? What's kind of behind that? Is it based on like the old school writer like Machiavelli? Is it based on like Tupac, Merkaveli?
Yeah, like all that, you know. Like I just thought it was funny and it flowed.
Yeah.
You know, I needed to change things up. I was like getting sick of my old name. Yeah, I just wanted to switch it up, and that one, like, people resonate to it. So,
Okay.
you know, I just kind of run with it. Sometimes I'm Countervelli, you know. Like,
Countervelli.
Yeah.
I like that. Like Count Dracula.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
belly.
right. Come on with their vamping, you know.
Yeah, which kind of incorporates into a lot of your character. Well, a good amount of your characters. Like I'll see some fangs on them, a little bit of blood here and there.
I like the old monsters. Dude.
I was gonna say,
like,
what's up with that? Is that kind of like just part of your inspiration?
Yeah, you know, it's like sometimes it's fun to be the bad guy, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not really, you know, they're always trying to cancel me, you know, like. I don't get like
haters.
I'm not painting the schools and stuff like that, you know, like
Yeah.
the school projects. They're like absolutely not. That guy, no.
Yeah.
But it motivates me more to do my own independent stuff, and it's just at the end of the day, it makes things really easy, dude. As long as you can, like, you got to wear all the hats, you know. But I know how to do the computer stuff. I can make my own T-shirts. I can do the flyers, and you know, like.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to call anybody up to get it done. Like
100%.
So,
like when you want
for
things
me,
done
it's
right,
easy.
yeah, do it yourself. You know, and when you say like wearing all the hats, I mean, I think something that people overlook when you're an artist is you are a full-time entrepreneur in every
no days
sense
off.
of the
Yeah.
no days off.
Yeah.
Like what does that transition look like for you when you're like out here painting, you're creating, you're doing what you want to do, you're getting paid for it, and then you're like, oh shit, I don't know if you're an LLC. I think you're an LLC.
Yeah.
So when you're an LLC and then you're like, okay, I got to track my finances. I got to be on top of the budget. I got to make sure I'm being, like you said, picky about the projects you take.
My wife helps me out with a ton of that stuff.
Oh,
Like, with
shout
everything
out the
I do,
wifey.
I can't do anything without her, dude. She helped even getting my plane tickets together and stuff. Like she runs the show for everything. I just paint the pictures.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So honest and transparent because people probably look at you and they're like, oh, he's a one-man band. But it's like, nah, you got to have at least someone behind you who backs you. Like, they got your back like a spine. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they ain't going to break on you even when you break, you know?
But I don't break, though.
Oh, he don't break, though?
Nah, I don't break, son.
He don't break? You get close to it?
Nah, I be breaking fools.
I be breaking fools, I don't break.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I love that. You know, and like we said, you travel a lot for festivals, for different painting. I know we talked about Art Basel, that you've been there before.
Yeah, Basil's dope, man.
What was that experience? Because Basel to me is like something I've always wanted to go, not even as a painter, just to attend. Like I've just wanted to see what the fuck it's about. It just,
you didn't go?
I haven't gone. I've never made it out there. So like, what is the vibes when you go there? What are you doing? Do you sign up? Does somebody ask you to go? Like, I don't even know.
You don't have to do any of that, man. Like when I first started going, I just went. And then just start painting. It's like 24 hours a day. There's like parties everywhere, man, and like everything. Like no one bothers you if you stay in that little area, you know. Like you just gotta like just bring like a sketchbook with you. You're like, hey, man, you know, you know, but I don't know. I've been doing it a bunch, dude. I've been there probably 5 times. Maybe like 20, 30 walls down there. Like,
do you think you're gonna make it out for the 20th year this year?
I'd like to. I gotta see what's going on. Like, I'm doing a show in Portland, like right before that, like September.
Oh, that's fire. Is that a solo as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I know, right?
That's wild.
I've been to Seattle a couple times, but I haven't really done much on the East Coast. I mean, on the West Coast. I painted once in San Diego, just like a little wall, like an 8-foot wall. Mm-hmm. But I've never been to LA yet. But Portland looks fun, dude. And like I got an opportunity to do a thing with this little gallery, like a boutique / gallery. Mm-hmm. And, like, me and my wife were always talking about going out there.
Yep.
So, like, that's one of those ones, you know, like,
Yeah.
we'll do both, you know?
Right.
Like, have fun with it, you know, and then check out, like, the rocks and everything from Goonies is out there, you know?
Yes.
And do my show.
Yeah, that's a dope little fact that I feel like not many people know about that
Right.
Goonies thing. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I thought it was Seattle. We've been there
No,
a bunch
yeah.
of times, so I looked it all up, and I'm like, oh, it's, like, over there.
Yep.
But it's like, all right, now I want to go over there and check that.
Right. And for shows like Oregon, or you know, anywhere that you've gone, I know you said Paris, Amsterdam. Are you bringing materials with you? Are you having wifey ship the materials? Are you guys picking it up at a store when you get there?
I usually do, like, you know, I can usually fit my, like, clothes and stuff in, like, a backpack, and then I'll just stuff my luggage with, like, canvases, you know, and set it up
The
there,
important
and
shit.
hopefully just, you know, sell as much of it as I can and not have to bring it back.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the goal. And you know, like I said, with your more of your digital pieces that you've been working on lately, you've had a project that you've put out that I just want to shout you out because it's so fire. I've admired it over the last few years. I am very excited to have you kind of give me some insight, but also my fans some insight of like what this project is and why you started it. I think you know what I'm talking about by how you're smiling. So I'll let you take it away. You can tell us what it's about.
Black Lives Matter, man.
Black Lives Matter. I fucking love that hashtag, by the way.
Yeah, man. I always think of Crispus Attucks, dude. Like, my whole, like, growing up, like, I grew up in East Cambridge, was, like, you know, like, the Southie of Cambridge. Like, there wasn't a lot of black families or whatever. And, like, you know, plus my mom's white, you know what I'm saying? So I'm, like, I'm in the middle of all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I always felt like Crispus Attucks, like, I get it. I get what his struggle, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like, 2020, dude, like, all those riots and the crazy stuff going down. Like, my wife's Asian. Like, dude, we're just seeing it from, like, all angles, you know what I'm saying?
Dealing with hate from all different ways,
And then, you know, like, February came around, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do some Black History portraits. And I just had fun doing it, you know? And then, like the second or third year in, I realized, like, oh, man, you know, like, there's, like, a leap year, too. Like, you get the extra day. And, you know, so I had to keep going because I wanted to do, like, the extra day guy, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So I probably was going to stop, like, after, like, the second one. But then, I don't know. There's always more people to paint, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And, yeah, so I wrapped it up. And then, I don't know. I want to do a book, maybe. I'd like to do something where I, like, just show the whole thing. Like, I think it should be, like, its own thing, you know, not part of, like, another show or something.
No, I feel like it should be its own series.
Yeah.
Definitely. You could do a whole gallery, a whole, like...
Of just those,
Yeah, you could even do, like, a short film, you know, on, like, you talking about it and
that's what I'm saying. I haven't really figured it out yet, but probably all that stuff.
Yeah, and so it was 2020 to 2024.
Yeah.
That the project went on.
Yeah, portrait every day for February.
So, okay, so this was a question I had for you. A portrait every day. When an artist hears that, like, to me, that initially causes me to have, like, angst, stress. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I get a portrait done every day? Did you feel like pressure to keep up with this project, or did you enjoy it so much that you were just like, oh, fuck it, I already have an inspiration for tomorrow?
I mean, a little of both.
Yeah.
Like, after the first year, you know, I tried to, like, you know, like this year, I had, like, 7 done on February 1st. You know what I mean? Like, I did them,
in advance?
ahead of time, you know, and just released them by the, you know, just so, because that first year was, like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I got like an hour to finish this.
Yeah, right.
But, like, yeah.
Do you work well under pressure or no?
Yeah, I do. But I tell you, doing that, like, I can do portraits now in like an hour, under an hour. That would take me like 4 hours before, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like, yeah. So overall, I mean, it's another exercise. There was something that, like, there was nothing to do in 2020. Everything was shut down anyway, you know what I mean? Like, and then, yeah, everything just, you always want to be more efficient and, like, you know, just, like, ready to roll, dude. Like,
right.
you just gotta be ready to roll. Like you can't worry about like like you were having problems with the mic earlier, or like I see guys like their projector goes down, they don't want to do their mural that they were flown into town for. Like, dude, you gotta just go, dude. Like,
right.
I did this thing in Mexico. We did this mural festival, and like they supplied all the paint. We just had to pick out from like their list of colors.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was doing this whole underwater scene. Like the whole thing is for like sea turtle conservation.
Oh, cool.
And so I had this whole underwater scene. I picked all these blues, and when I get there, dude, they were all like the same blue. You know what I mean? Like,
did you just use white and like do different, like make your own
shades? I had to like change my whole design and shit, but like I did it.
But you roll with the punches. I mean, that's part of being an artist,
yeah,
or an entrepreneur in general.
Exactly. You gotta just be ready to like just keep it going.
Exactly, and like that actually leads into like, while I've been creating the show, you asked me like, how long have you been doing this, whatever. When people ask me that, it's so hard to explain because it's like before I LLC'd it, I was doing it for like 2 years. I failed so many times. I went through so many different studios, producers, attempts, trying, projects that I worked hours on that never even came out. You know what I mean? Like all those behind the scenes stuff. What is your take as an artist or entrepreneur, 20 years in the game, on failure or failing, or just like...
Just figure it out, man. Like what I mean by that is like learn from... like learn why it failed. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe your shadows just sucked then, dude, or like that shit looked too flat, or maybe you didn't promote it right,
for sure,
or maybe it was just the wrong location. You know what I mean? Or you gotta look ahead of time. Like I've done shows where like we were so hyped about it and we just didn't look outside of ourselves, and it was like Eminem or somebody was like at the Middle East that night, dude. It was like, dude, nobody was here. Like, 4 people came to the show. Like,
right.
You just gotta be you gotta be aware of everything else around you,
Mm-hmm.
And be able to shift, if shit goes sideways. It's gonna go sideways, so
at one point or another, yeah. It's not when, or it's not if, it's when, pretty much, because if you're really going to invest in something, an investment in yourself, an investment in your art, there's always a chance that something's going to go wrong. There's always a chance that something will fail. But what is the payout is never giving up on yourself. And actually, when we talked on the phone, you said something, and I had to make a note of it, but you said it's about passion more than payout. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like it's the same thing when you have self-belief, when you stay consistent, because if you gave up on who you are as a person, your art would have never kept going. You know what I mean? You would have given up on yourself.
And like you pay me for my experience, not my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So like starting from like back when you just graffiti stuff, and like, I get into these wars and shit with these other kids, and dude, I've been through like 3 generations of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you see
these dudes think they're like your illest rival. Like they're going around scratching your name out everywhere they can around the city. And like 5 years later, dude, like you're a plumber, bro. Like,
right, yeah.
I'm in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck you, dude. Like,
exactly.
They come and go, man. Like if you're not, it's what you're doing with you. It has nothing to do with, okay, you paint too, I paint, cool. You know what I'm saying? But like,
yeah.
If you don't have it in yourself to keep going, then that's usually the guys who like come fucking poking around at other people. But it's like, dude,
exactly,
like,
yeah.
Some of those guys are like good friends of mine now, man. Like we used to like fight on sight, you know what I'm saying? And now it's like, damn, bro, you still out here doing this shit? Like, where you going next? Like, I saw you was in fucking Spain, bro. Like, it's like, yeah, man. Like, just don't fucking give up on yourself.
Yeah, you got to stick with it. If you give up on you, then everybody and everything else will give up on you too, because luck tends to bet on those emotions. If you're not in motion, if you're not moving, if you're not trying, then the universe is not going to manifest what it would have, what it should have, or what it would have.
And just be smart about, you got to be smart about everything, just like, like I did the first time I left the States, like you got to just apply for everything. Right. Like all these festivals or whatever, you just apply for everything. And someone's going to say yes.
Yeah.
I got into a festival, it's called Upfest in Bristol, same town Banksy's from.
Oh, shit.
They, like,
yes, you're right.
They cover his pieces with like plexiglass on the streets out there.
Wow.
But they have a really dope graffiti festival there. I did
Okay.
it like 2 or 3 times. And they were the first time I got like invited out of the States. But like we were like, yo, all right, we gotta take advantage of this. So like let's stop a couple days in Amsterdam. I have a friend who like runs an art gallery from like the APC shit. Like all these APC guys
Yeah.
made it through Amsterdam at one point or another. And they
Wow.
always hook up with this lady and she
Mhm.
finds walls for them and shit.
I'm going to Amsterdam in a few months, so you may have to give me some art recommendations.
Oh, definitely.
Have to check that out.
Yeah, the whole north side is nuts.
Okay.
It's just like the whole like like past the sub
Mm-hmm.
is like you just paint anything. It's pretty
wild.
dope.
And did they have legal walls out there?
That's what I'm saying. Like
All the
yeah,
walls
like
are
once
legal?
you get on, so there's like a canal that goes through like the middle of town,
Yeah.
and then once you get on this other certain side of it, like the
Uh-huh.
north side,
Yeah.
just fucking paint all day.
That's
like,
crazy.
Sides of buildings if you want. Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's Amsterdam's nuts, dude.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find it.
yeah,
I gotta find
it's
it.
crazy out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And really good pastries, man.
Oh yeah, joints and
Uh-huh.
pastries. That's like
Yeah.
my go-to when I go there.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking for the best weed cannabis coffee shop that I can find.
Oh, I mean like regular
Uh,
pastries.
Yeah, well, in regular, well, I want a regular pastry, but then I want a joint with it, you know.
Mhm.
But you know, within everything you've done, from the LLC to just creating, and you can take this in whatever way you want, but like, I think a big thing that I try to portray to people listening in, because I feel like we just said, it's so easy to give up, rather it is to keep going.
Or even get distracted, man. You gotta focus on what you're trying to accomplish. If you don't have a plan, you know, like you're not gonna go anywhere with it.
Mm-hmm. So
Like I know guys like that too. Like you know, not to shit on them or anything, but like you gotta have you don't have to tell anybody what it is, but you gotta have a focus,
Mhm.
your own goals, or you're just treading water, you know.
right.
And then when you get like that, that's when you're gonna end up giving up on shit. Like, dude, I've been doing this for like 5 years and like it's not going anywhere. But it's like, what were you focusing on? Where did you want to get to at the end of that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can have fun and paint, but if you want to have fun and paint and like make a career of
And
it
live
too,
off
it's a
of
little
it.
different.
Right.
You know.
And for yourself, like, do you create short-term goals, long-term goals, like 3-month goals, 5-year goals, stuff like that,
Yeah.
when you talk about like long-term planning?
Yeah, I usually think in years, like for the last couple years, this year I was like, you know, that's gonna be 20 years. Like I realized like 2 years ago, I was like, dude, oh shit,
It's
it's
just so
almost
fucking
20
crazy
years.
when you say it.
Yeah,
I'm like
so
honored that you're here. Thank
there
you.
was like a lot of things that I put off over the last like year or two. Like, you know, I'm gonna save that for 2024.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah.
but just little things like that, just being aware and. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. If you like let it go the right way, you'll just be more happy with what happens, you know?
Yeah. And like, I mean, I personally believe that, you know, we have a plan. There's something written for us, but if you're not the one to make the moves on it, like that won't stay there forever. Like if you don't use it, you lose it. You know what I mean? If you don't put yourself to be taking the steps, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're not running, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl, like Martin Luther King said. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but you got to keep moving, you know, and you can't stop. Whether that mountain gets crooked or, you know, there's rocks or whatever happens on the way,
Mhm.
because then you wouldn't even be here today on your 20th anniversary, being able to be like, yo, this is how I got here. So it's really all about the consistency, the motivation. And I just want to say to anyone listening in, like, you're hearing it straight up from an OG graffiti mural artist who's traveled all over the world and is still working on perfecting their craft. Am I right?
Yeah,
You
man,
still
every day.
practice.
Yeah, man, like Bruce Lee, dude. I never stopped learning, you know?
Your Bruce Lee painting was fire, by the way.
I
The
do
one you
one of
did
those
for...
like every month. That's my dad, dude.
Well,
Yeah, I've been to his grave. It was dope.
you've been to his
Sat there for like an
grave?
hour, man. It was crazy. Dude.
Are you serious?
Fuck yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's right there in Seattle, man.
Holy shit.
I went to Jim Morrison's grave too, from Paris.
Wow.
Yeah, that's another hero of mine, dude.
Oh my God. So
Yeah.
this is actually a perfect transition. I wanted to ask you, who are some of your inspirations, whether it be through film, through painting, whether it's locally or celebrities, or music?
I really like I like the way Basquiat carried himself, man. Like how he didn't give a fuck, dude. And he just like let all like the art world people suck, dude. Here in Boston, they suck, dude.
Yeah.
Like if you're not painting sailboats or like fucking brownstones, they don't care, man.
They act like they're for the culture, but they're not for the culture.
Nah, man. I did this show down the Cape last summer, and like I did all this. I wanted to do a Cape Cod show my whole life. I did this Cape Cod show, all this Cape Cod-y stuff. You know, I did like sailboats. I did all that shit, but I did it like my way, you know, gave it a little funk, some like neon stuff. Like I'm doing like neon oil paints and flashing black lights at it while people are looking at it. I'm doing like crazy shit.
It's wild.
And this dude comes over to me and he's like, "Ain't no pink sailboats." I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, yeah, man.
I would have been like, go fuck yourself.
Sorry, it was awful. I'm sorry, but it was no disrespect. Like, I had a great time. The gallery is dope. My homie Joey Rugo put it on. He's the man, dude. But like, the motherfuckers that came through there with their fucking foo art, I was ready to choke them out, man. So many
ignorant art collectors and people.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Who showed you how to do this? I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
It's like I showed me how to do this.
We have a house on the Cape. Like, we're neighbors, stupid. Like,
oh shit, that's wild.
But yeah, man, people are ignorant, man.
Yeah.
And like, the craziest with the collector people blows my mind the most, dude. Because like, they're just out here buying stuff, dude. Like, what are you gonna tell me?
But judgmentally.
Yeah,
like, how are you going to be so
like,
judgmental when you can't even create, like, draw a stick figure?
I know a ton of artists. I know guys who are nasty in acrylics or dudes who are nasty spray paint guys.
Yeah.
Nasty oil guys. But, like, the oil guy doesn't do spray paint. The spray paint guy doesn't do oils.
Right.
And still they don't talk to you like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
facts.
But they're still masters of their own. But these people were just, like, you know, real estate people. It's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah. But that's just a mindset, I feel like, too. Like, those people who they just feel, like, entitled, you know?
Yeah,
and it's like,
man.
But if they knew everything you've done, it's like, you're actually the entitled one in the situation. So, but it's up to interpretation, and ignorance is bliss. And I think, like, with being a full-time artist, a lot of judgment comes with that. And you have to just find a way to navigate through the judgment, the hate, and just see the positive silver lining.
Yeah, just ignore it, man.
Yeah. So anybody who's listening in who's an artist or entrepreneur and they're being hated on right now and their work's being stolen, they should
just buy a pair of sneakers. You know, go get a haircut or something, you know, just feel good about yourself.
Yes. Because if you don't feel good about you, then, like, how can you create at your highest level, you know? Yeah,
right? If you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else, right?
Oof.
That's RuPaul. RuPaul said that.
That is RuPaul. And I seen you did a RuPaul painting, and I'm a RuPaul drag fan. I've been to, like, his drag brunches. Like, I'm a #1 fan. Like, I watch the show.
We go that's part of what we do when we go on vacation.
You like RuPaul? Your girl likes RuPaul?
Dude, yeah. We go to drag brunches all over the place, man. We went to this one in Miami. Dude, this chick...
Wait, I went to a drag brunch in Miami.
They do flips down the...
They did...
Yeah, I've been there.
It was like a strip show. Like, they were like, I was like, damn.
Flips I am in like 6-inch heels down the sidewalk.
Split.
Was like
they
nuts.
flipped and then they split. And I like literally put a $1 bill in their pant, like whatever they had on. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, we went to the Vegas one. It was good though.
That's so cool.
We went to one in Seattle. Like, yeah, we always go to those things, man. Those guys are hilarious.
That's a good time.
Yeah.
I love that you're open to it because I feel like some guys, they're so close-minded. They'd be like, ugh, like homophobic
whatever.
type
You ever
shit,
watch that show? It's hilarious.
Dude, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And they're talented as hell. Yeah. Like, you can't say they're not talented.
Yeah, it's a good
time. But yeah, so, you know, aside from all that you've done on the painting realm, actually, before I jump into this next huge announcement, because I think it's super cool and I want to make sure that we really get into like your toys and, you know, what you're going to do with them. But you said that you are a oil painter. Is that correct?
I use oil paints. I wouldn't say I'm like a master or anything. So
what's your favorite form? Like,
I mean, the computer is fun because I can just lay on the couch and do it. the oils are fun to play with because like they do crazy things, like the way the colors blend and stuff.
So oil, I've never been able to learn it. It was so freaking hard for me. Like I couldn't.
I got my buddy Adam, dude, Adam O'Day. Yeah, he showed me.
Oh,
the
I've
ropes.
seen his work. He's good.
He's nasty, dude.
Yeah.
Like we paint together, he'll like I'll do a painting, he'll do like 4 in that same time.
Do you have any tips for oil painters?
You can just wipe it away, man. Like if you mess up on something, you can just like whoosh, and like start over, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's dope about it.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's more like the spray paint than like if anything, acrylic sucks, dude. I hate acrylic.
Acrylic sucks. I learned on acrylic in my first art class ever, and I was like, fuck this. And then I went to watercolor, and I loved watercolor.
I don't really play with that stuff, right?
Oh, you haven't tried
it gets messy so easily. I don't know.
You gotta try it. You'll love mixing the colors and the blending. You gotta try that.
Yeah, I could. I could see that.
Maybe in your next phase after your 20 years.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Like if we get to figure it all out.
Yeah.
You know, like once I started doing the computer stuff, and then like I learned the website stuff, and then I figured, you know, just learn it all.
And for the digital, did somebody teach you digitally, or was that also through self-practice?
Like I said, I started so you know Procreate.
Yeah.
Like what Procreate does, I was doing like 10 years ago, but it took me like 4 different programs, and then Procreate came out, and I used it. I was like, dude, this is what I've been.
This is.
I wish I invented this. Like, you know what I mean? Like.
No facts.
Yeah, I've been doing this since before it was a thing, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I had a little tablet, was like this big. It was like over there, and like the screen's there, and you're drawing like that, you know.
Yeah.
And then I had to put it into like Photoshop to do the fades, and then into Flash was like the better outlining, and like Illustrator. Yeah, dude, like it took all day. Now I do stuff in like under an hour.
Took all your processes and put it into one system.
Yeah.
And that's the amazing thing about technology. And it's like not going to stop here. It's only going to grow more. Like I feel like one day you're going to have holographic paintings that are like projected in a gallery. You know what I mean? Like on some shit. Who knows?
100%.
Yeah. You know, and like I said, before we get into the toys, because I'm just, you know, I just want to take the time that I have you here. I just want to let you know, I'm so honored that you were willing to come on the show and just talk about your journey. I know it's like no big deal to you, but to me, like you are such a huge artist in Boston that I've heard about for years, that when I started out painting and I saw your work and I've seen it in galleries, I was always like, who's this Merkaveli? Who's this Merkaveli? Like literally, like it's an honor to have you on the show and just to be able to talk about the journey that you've called your life. But in that journey that you've called your life, you know, I've shared a little bit with you outside of the show about my own personal struggles, and it played into me being able to have Old Soul Young World today. So playing into you being Merkaveli, like, did you ever have really, really down times in your life that you had to like keep pushing yourself through to become or to keep going to be like who you are now? And could you share maybe like one of those times?
Yeah, man. I think part of the painting, you know, is what like connected me to like the outside world. Like I didn't have any brothers or sisters. You know, I would just like sit home and draw and stuff, and like, you know, I have friends, but you know, I didn't. Like I said, I was like the wrong kid for the neighborhood that I grew up in. So like, you know, things were weird. You know, there was like bullies and shit like that. You know,
for sure.
Like. I only fought like 1 or 2 like black people in my life. You know what I'm saying? For all the fights I've had.
Yeah.
That's something I always think about. You know, it's always been like something race driven, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just dealt with a lot of that shit, dude. Like, you know, being like biracial, and like my dad was never in the picture. So like, you know, I didn't really have anybody to like show me the ropes on like, you know, how to not get beat up, aside from like just getting beat up, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But like the painting like helped like a lot, you know. Like once I started doing shows and everything, and then like people, yeah, it gave me a lot more confidence, you know what I'm saying. Like I always had jokes, man, but like I never told anybody the jokes, you know. But now I'll be out there acting a fool and shit.
Yeah. And that's the best part. It's like you do have to go through those transitions where you're faced with a reflection of yourself. And it's like, am I going to let outside people who are bullying, haters, biracial, like racist, whatever it is.
Yeah, you gotta have something to feel good about, man.
Right.
Like, people are trying to beat you down all the time, you know?
For
like,
sure.
So, yeah, like, even if you're not doing it for any, like, I got buddies who, like thick ass black books full of, like, painting, but they don't show any of it. But, you know, they do it every day. They love that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta do stuff that makes you feel good for you, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's different for everyone. And it's like anybody listening in, like your confidence, your belief in yourself, it comes from an inner motivation that nobody outside you can give you. I could tell Merkaveli his whole life, you're an amazing painter and you're going to be successful and you're going to travel all over the world and you're going to do this, this, and this. But if he didn't believe in himself and do it, he would have never got the chance to do those things. As I wouldn't have been here today speaking to him if I didn't believe in myself and past all the negativity, say, I'm still going to do this. I'm going to get up today. I'm going to be motivated. I'm going to keep going. Be consistent in whatever it is that you choose to do, whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or anything in between, because it does come full fruition once you're, you know, really 100% into it, you know, and when you don't give up, you'll see the results. So don't forget that. Merkaveli is an example. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it because it just goes to show that 20 years in the game, traveling all over the world, anything you've done, there was still a moment in time where you started. You know, you started and you became confident. You created a process and you created what you said, like a plan. Without the plan, there would be no future. So it's just very motivating to me as a young woman, a young artist, and anybody who's listening in to be able to hear your story and be like, you can still be, you know, decades in and still working on yourself to become better, to create, and to find your own meaning of success. Because when we started the show, I feel like before you mentioned the success of painting, you mentioned a family. And I'm just wondering, do you have kids right now, or are you?
I'm a stepdad.
That's cool, but
you know, I've been around, like, my youngest guy, he's going for his license right now. He was 5 when I came in the picture, you
That's
know?
exciting.
So I've been around.
So I'm going to ask, like, through that lens of also, like, having a family and being involved in a committed, like, relationship and with children and with a partner, do you feel like when you went through, like, in your early childhood of, you know, not having a dad there and having to build that confidence on your own, that you're now able through the family that you have to instill that?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
little bit?
You know, I try to, whatever they, you know, they want to do, I try to support them in that, you know. And
love that.
honestly, I got lucky, man. These kids, they're awesome. These 2 boys, and they're like, you know, if I ever had to discipline them on something, I never had to do it twice. Like, you know, like, they just really good. They're really smart. They're good in school, all that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, like, they get inspired by me. Like, you know, I didn't really realize that for a long time, but, you know, my girl would tell me about, like, things they say when I'm not there, you know, and, like, yeah, it's all full circle. Like, the little guy goes to, like, museums and shit all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like,
love that.
He loves, like, my art. He never, like, sat down and told me that, but I know he likes it, you know?
Yeah. But that's, like, even something as simple as that, you're planting a seed in generations of people who are looking up to you, and you may not even know it, but it's inspiring future artists to be able to...
You know, I do know that, because, like, I did a bunch of teaching, man, like, 10, 15 years ago, and, like, a bunch of these kids I run into now on things like this, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Or, like, you know, pro-black.
Yeah.
He's doing, like, a film on himself or whatever.
For sure.
And then they asked me to do, like, an interview on that. And then one of my students is the camera guy doing that. You know what I mean?
That's
just
wild.
Like, there's shit like that all over the city. You know, I run into kids who, they were 10 when I met them, you know. They never had a computer. And now they're, like, dope artists all over the city, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I was part of that. That's sick. It
continuing to inspire even years and years later. Yeah. That's beautiful. But, I do want to get into big announcement about the new toy that you're going to be putting out this year.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's kind of in a pre-production phase, I believe.
Right.
Do you want to tell us about it? And maybe we can show like your first one and then we can show the new one if that's cool.
Well, the first one, it's this little ghost guy.
Want to put him on camera with you so people can see him close up?
Yeah, he was inspired by his
That's a cool little
song
guy.
by Nas.
Oh, okay.
Called Hip Hop Is Dead.
Yes.
And like I was just really getting sick of all like the silly trap music and stuff.
Yeah.
So I made that little like MC ghost dude. Gave him a little Kango.
He's fire.
I wanted to do something like the toy game is funny. There's a lot of like play on stuff. Like you take Ronald McDonald, but then like you mix him with Donald Duck or something. Like there's a lot of that in the toy
it's like
game.
Gangster Ronald McDonald or something.
Yeah. Like everything is based on something.
Culture,
right. That shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for my first one or first couple, I wanted to do something more just mine, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So the new one I'm doing now is it's just a play on one of the characters that like I'm mostly known for like these girl characters I throw up when I, go graffitiing or painting walls, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted one of those that you can like hold in your hand and like turn around and stuff. So
okay.
That's what I'm working on now.
And is it a specific character? Like, does she have a name or is it just
not really, man. Like, I know by the time I get to like production, I'm going to need that stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just throw them together, like I treat my characters are like my letters. If, like from a graffiti aspect, like the real good graffiti guys have their own letters, and they don't use anybody else's letters.
Right.
So I never really focus on the letters, man. A lot of it was like, how much can you do with a letter? When I know there's like a world you can do with it. Mm-hmm. But when I was like young, growing up, I just felt like I could do so much more with a character. And there wasn't really a lot of people doing the characters. There still isn't, like, ratio-wise of, like, characters to, like, letter guys.
Definitely.
So, like, like, my characters are my letters, you know what I mean? So they're always a little different. If anything, I might use the same color scheme, just so, like, that might be Merk's. I think it is.
Yeah.
Like, he always uses that blue.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I try to, I just see, like, everything looks cartoony to me, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just see cartoons and everything.
Are you inspired by any cartoons that your characters are made of? It's like I've had this cartoon in my head and I was like, I want to like say it and then I'll say it after. But do you have any cartoons that inspire like your female characters or any of the other ones that you've created?
I just like all the greats, dude. Like Tex Avery and Chuck Jones and them.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 80s, man. So, like, Robotech and, like, Grendizer, all the old, like, Japanese animation stuff was, like, fire. You know?
Well, I do see resemblances of, like, anime type.
Yeah, man. They just, because, this is the thing, dude. So, Walt Disney, with his weird racist ass, he made the cartoons
Let's get into it.
Mainstream, right?
Fags.
And then
racist
Japan
ass
saw
Mickey
that,
Mouse.
and they're like, this is dope. And then... so they were a couple years behind him. So, but, he wasn't telling them how he did it.
For sure.
So they tried to figure out their way to do it. And then after that, it came back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, there's different ways to streamline things. There's, like, the frame rates and, like, the line work, ins and outs of shadow. Like, and so that's where that's how I learned from. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where my lines came from. That's where, like, if I'm my level of detail compared to, like, my color schemes, all that is fucking animation, And, like, because, like, you're doing a cartoon, you need to do, well, like, Akira is 60 frames a second. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a 2-hour movie. Right. 60 frames a second is insane, like, without AI or computers or any of that shit.
For sure.
Like, Pinocchio was oil painted. Like, it would cost billions of dollars to make that. You can't make another Pinocchio.
Right.
Like, it's impossible.
For sure.
That was slave labor.
Yep.
But Yeah, that's how I got to where I'm at with my line work and my color scheme, my color theory or whatever.
And would you want to just show your new toy that you're going to be dropping on your close up shot?
Yeah, this is my
She's
new
so
little
dope.
batch right here. Yeah.
I love her.
Mhm.
She's so
Yeah,
fire.
she has her little like, oh my god, I watched too much cartoon face going.
Literally, she's
But
like,
yeah.
I'm zoned out on the TV. I love the little hard eyes, the tongue out. Such a good vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
And when that's a 3D printed, like,
Yeah.
just a basic promo of it, right?
Yeah, just to see how it looked in real life, and yeah, now it's time to play around with some colors and
Dope.
next go on to production. Right
Do you
now
have
it's 7
colors
inches.
in mind?
I have 4
Okay.
that I set up, 4 colorways,
Okay.
but one of them I already hate. So
Okay.
you know
So
what I
fuck
mean?
that one. Drop that one.
Yeah.
And do you think you'll drop her in a few colorways, like maybe like a little
I was
series?
gonna do 100, 4 different 25. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
or
an
maybe
exclusive drop.
maybe 20 of each, and then a couple blanks,
Fire.
something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's cool. And just for my own curiosity, because your characters are just so unique, they're so dope. Do you ever see yourself in the future creating some type of comic book, novel, short, like animation film
You know
thing?
what?
Is that
Actually,
what you're interested in? Or
I saw this thing the other day, man. This like couple kids made like a whole anime with like AI,
yeah,
and it did like all the animation for them. They just like,
it takes the like
I don't
fun
know.
out of it, though. I
Like,
could
really?
write a whole
Like-
paper with AI right now,
right, but it's still like, it's how much you control it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if you're still like making it all the characters and putting and writing it all out, what's the difference? It's cheaper than hiring like an animation team out of Korea or whatever. You know what I mean?
That's for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to do comic books and stuff when I was in like high school, but like after I tried a couple, I was like, fuck this, dude. Like,
It's a lot of work.
yeah, man, what do you get? Like a $200 a page for like 16 pages, and it's like your
Yeah.
whole month. Your deadlines are like you have like 4 days to play with that. You have to have the whole issue done in like 12 days or something. No, you get burned. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I just like making the characters, dude. Like, then I could do them huge, like the size of the wall or whatever. That's fine
Right.
with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody picks one up or something, and I get to be like creative director or something on something, that'd
Right.
be cool. But
Yeah. It's
as
not
far as,
something
like,
you're personally looking
no,
to do.
dude. Like, I tried writing some stories and stuff. I just draw the characters, man.
I appreciate that. At least you know where you stand and you're comfortable
Yeah,
with it,
yeah.
and you know that's what you want to do, and it's what makes you happy. And is there anything else that you have coming out in 2024 besides the solo show at the Blue Triangle, the solo show in Oregon? If anyone wants to fly out to Oregon and check them out, anything else that's coming
Yeah,
up in
man.
your wheelhouse?
So I got this little art collective.
Oh yeah. Finish that off.
I teamed up with these 2 guys, Brandalism and Adam O'Day,
Okay.
and then together we're the Meanwhile Vampires. Right?
I love the vampire concept that
Yeah,
it's
well,
always
it started
incorporated.
from like John Lennon and like his buddies.
Uh-huh.
Like they would just go out and like get wasted and like think of music ideas and shit in the middle of the night. They call themselves the Hollywood Vampires. They were out in L.A. So I was thinking about that because I'm at the studio with these guys. We're painting all night and just getting like wasted.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's kind of like the same vibe, man. And like, we all like vampires and shit. But yeah, so we got our first show in October. We're gonna do like a closing party on Halloween.
What?
Yeah, it's gonna be vampire
That's
as
fire.
fuck.
Wait.
Yeah.
Is it vampire themed? Like come dressed up?
I mean, our whole life is vampire theme, man.
I
so,
fucking love that.
Yeah.
Vampire themed life. What up?
Yeah.
And that's you said Halloween 2024?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. We definitely locked down the show for October, and then I'm not sure yet about maybe we do an opening or maybe we'll just save it for like that. Because I mean, people are busy, so maybe we'll do an opening and then do a closing party on Halloween. But
Okay.
I don't know. I want to wear like Dracula cape and shit.
Fuck
You know?
yeah. Everyone has to wear fangs or you can't get in.
Right.
BYOF, baby.
Yeah, you know, like some Lost Boy shit.
Yeah,
know?
for real.
Drink some Chinese food.
Honestly. I love that. That's dope. Yeah. Very, very cool. You know, we are going to be wrapping up. I appreciate, you know, all your time and everything that you shared on the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. This is fun.
Dude, of course. You've been such a vibe, honestly. But I do have like 2 more questions for you. So I'm going to give you, you know, your go ahead. If you want to give any ending advice, you know, to any artists, entrepreneurs, graffiti artists, painters, people, souls, old, young, anywhere in between, listening in, just about, you know, staying motivated in your journey and or whatever the hell you want to say.
I would say when you're looking for people to inspire you, find people who not just for their fame or like what you got their attention from, but study their life and who they were. Like when I said like I'm really like inspired by Basquiat, like personally I don't really care for his paintings, but his like everyday life amazes me. Like I just watch these documentaries like every night when I go to bed, you know what I mean? And like Bruce Lee like literally like raised me like I'm his fucking child through the TV. You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's because of his everyday struggle, man. Like the shit that he went through and like how he like conquered those things, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's amazing, dude. And like you can, it's not the same with what you're doing, but you know what I'm saying? And sometimes in some ways it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you gotta, you know, just, okay, this guy had like the hottest song this year. Like that, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? I don't care for like any of this. Like it's about what you did and how you got there. And like if that is a real deal, then you know I'm with you.
Yes, 100%. Be inspired by people who have substance past their physical materialism.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, this body will fade away. The material stuff, these clothes won't last. They'll be passed down, but you know. Our souls will transcend, our purpose will transcend, our art will transcend, our words will transcend. I think it was Maya Angelou. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like people won't remember, you know, like how you looked or this, and this, but they'll remember how you made them feel. So that's really what it is at the end of the day. Like you're evoking emotion through art. I evoke emotion through conversation. But at the end of the day, whatever you're evoking, just make sure that you back that and you back the people who are inspiring you. You know, don't be fake. Don't be a hater. Be a real ass person. Be a real artist and be your own person and your own artist, your own entrepreneur.
Yeah. You
don't have to be a follower, even in a world of followers on social media. You can still be, you know, yourself. And, you know, I ask all my guests, Merkaveli, who come on the show, this question. So I want to, you know, do you in suit. But I'm just wondering from your perspective as an artist, an entrepreneur, you know, 20 years in the game, going strong in your purpose and yourself. What does it mean to you to be an old soul in a young world or just to have a soul at all?
I just like being here and like, you know, making some jokes, man. Being part of like the conversation. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I hang out with kids who are 20 years older than me, 20 years younger than me, and like, we all just act up and do silly shit, you know? Like,
yes.
Yeah, man, with age is a number, right? You stay active, you'll be active.
Oh, so young. 100%.
And more air horns, man. More air horns.
Yo, put the air horn. We need more air horns.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen more cowbell? Have you seen that? Bring in the cowbell.
Yeah, dude.
No, but 100%. I couldn't agree more. You know, and that's the only way. It's like you have to just be you. You have to just keep going and be consistent in what you love and who you are. And age is just a number. You can be inspired by somebody 20 years older, 20 years younger, somebody who's the same age. It doesn't matter. What I'm getting at is that your body, like I said, is physical, but your soul is forever. Your soul is the one that transcends. Merkaveli has this amazing artistic passion because of something within him. It's not because of the color of his skin. It's not because of how he looks or, you know, how he does this, this, or this. It's because he was born with something that he then decided to build, to invest in, to create, to be consistent with. And from that, built a career, built a life, built a family, traveled the world, is still creating new opportunities for yourself, like the toys, etc. It's a never-ending opportunity once you break the mindset that you're stuck in a box, once you break the mindset that you have to listen to what other people tell you, and you decide to just be who the hell you are. Like I said, old soul, young soul, or any damn soul in between, because that's what it's about. So, Merkaveli, I just thank you so much again. I'm honored for everything that you decided to share today. I can't wait for the upcoming toys, for the solo galleries, for everything that's in the works. And, I just want to let you end off. Is there anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to share before we sign out from OSY Dubs?
I don't know, man. Just stay positive, dude, and maybe you'll find me at the parade when Celtics take it this year.
Whoa!
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
What's that? Is that a little secret drop? You're gonna feel the Celtics parade?
Who's beating it? Who's beating them?
Okay,
right? Who's beating them?
No one's beating them. Nobody's beating them. That's facts. But thank you again, Merks. Cheers to you.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate all your accomplishments in the past, present, and future.
Thank you.
Make sure y'all tune in to check out Merkaveli on all of his social medias, all of his platforms. And actually, before I 100% sign off, can you put your platforms out there? Website, Instagram?
Yeah, man.
YouTubes?
Instagram, Merkaveli Art. And if you want to really get down with all the debauchery, or follow the Meanwhile Vampires.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's like the late night.
That's fun.
All right.
I don't really know what to expect from that page, but I'm going to have to follow it because I need to see what's
it's just
going
getting started, but yeah.
Okay.
It's dirty.
I'm down with this vamp movement, so
Yeah, man,
count
it's
me
good time,
in,
right?
Yeah. Young vampires, old vampires, are all vampires in between. No, we might have to change our catchphrase. I don't know.
Blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Can you give a little vampire, sign off? Blah, blah, blah. All right, y'all. There's no better note to end on than Merkaveli doing a Dracula impersonation. So again, make sure y'all check out Merkaveli on all his platforms, socials, website, everything in between for all the shows and work he has coming up in 2024. Make sure you check out and stay inspired by all the work he's creating, from toys to murals to regular paintings that he's selling at his art shows. And remember, anything that you're doing from here on out, guys, you can be motivated and inspired by the world around you. Don't be closed-minded. Be open-minded. Be a good person. Follow with high integrity. Carry yourself to make the change in the future that you want to see. It doesn't have to be what it is now. You are the only you. You're only going to be the only you. Merk is the only him. I'm the only me. Make sure you guys keep going. Never give up. And tune in with me next week for another motivational guest on Old Soul, Young World with your host, Jessie Elly. Cheers! Hey! Old Soul, Young World.
But when it's of true positive nature manifestation,
Old souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between.
search deeper, dive deeper, and be like, yo,